In this video, I'm going to teach 3 incredible tricks that can be done on the fly without any setup. These tricks are perfect to perform if you're at a party with a bunch of friends and someone asks you to do a trick. So imagine this, and this is exactly what the trick would actually look like if you did it live. You're at a party, somebody asks you to perform a trick, and so you say, okay, let's gather 9 random items, any items that you have in the house. So somebody might reach in their pocket and grab their keys, maybe there's a die sitting around, a remote control, a coin, whatever. It doesn't matter what these 9 items are, you're just going to place them out on the table. Then you'll explain to the group that you're going to leave the room and you want them together to silently decide on one of these items that they're going to be thinking of. Now, they don't have to touch any of the items because I don't want them to think like if they pick it up and they put it back, I'd notice that it moved. So they don't have to touch it. They just have to kind of agree as a group which item they're going to think of. Once they've decided on an item, they're going to call me back in the room and I'm going to put my hands over the items. I'm going to try to get the feel for which one they might have been thinking of, and I'll grab one item, and I'll be right 100% of the time. The secret to this trick is that I have an accomplice, but why it works so perfectly is because if you're at a casual setting at a party and somebody asks you to perform, they can't imagine that you might have set something up in advance with somebody else. Now, I know I said that this trick doesn't require any setup. What I meant is the items don't need to be set up, but of course you have to prearrange with an accomplice on how to do the trick. Your accomplice is going to use a glass that they're drinking from and a coaster or a beverage napkin to tell me which item they selected. And they're going to use this coaster like a map of these items. So let's say that as a group they decided on the money in the middle. My accomplice would take a sip of their drink and just place it right back in the middle of their coaster. As soon as I walk in the room, I'd see that and I'd immediately know which item they picked. Now, I wouldn't just go straight to it and point to it. I'd have to do some acting and slowly reach around. Maybe I'd eliminate some items and then I'd pick up the item they were thinking of. Let's say they thought of the die, which is on the right side and it's in the middle. My accomplice would take a sip of their drink and just place it back kind of on the edge like that, telling me that it's the right side in the middle. If it was the pen, they'd put their glass there. If it was the keys, they put it back here. So it's just a simple map of exactly where the item is. Now, what's great about this trick is that as soon as I walk in the room and I see where the cup is, so let's say it's right here, I immediately see it's there, I know it's the remote, and as soon as they see that I've seen that, they can pick their glass up and drink from it again, and then they have to go near the coaster again. They can place their cup somewhere else on the table or just keep it in their hand as I reveal which item they were thinking of, making it impossible for somebody to figure out how I knew. There's another version of this trick that works in a similar way, but it doesn't require a coaster or a glass. It just uses 8 playing cards. The way this works is exactly the same as the last trick I just showed, except my accomplice is going to use the bottom left card, the 8, as a map of these cards to tell me which card they selected. Now you'll notice the spots on the 8 are in this 3, 2, 3 pattern, just like these cards are 3, 2, 3. So let's say they were thinking of the 5 of clubs. When I came in the room, my accomplice would point to the cards one at a time and say, did they think of this card? Did they think of that card? But when they point to the 8, they're just going to touch it in the spot that tells me which card they actually thought of. So if they touch it here, I know they were thinking of the 5 of clubs. So it might look something like this. Did they select this card? I'd say no. Did they select this card? I'd say no. Did they select this card? Yes, I know that because of where they touched the 8. Now to make it a little bit harder to detect the method, we wouldn't point to the 8 first. So let's say the group was thinking of the 3 of clubs. I'd come back in the room, my accomplice might point to the ace first, and I would say no. I know that whatever card they point to before the 8 is not the card they were thinking of, so it doesn't matter where they point. I'm always going to say no until they touch the 8. So let's say they pointed here, I'd say no. Let's say they pointed here, I'd say no. Let's say they pointed here. Now they're touching the 8 in that spot to tell me that it's the 3. I'd say no again. Now they go here, no. They go here, I'd say yes. Now some people get nervous about this because they say, well, what if they pick the 8? But that's fine, you can do the exact same thing. So let's say they picked the 8 and I came back in the room. They might point here. Did they pick this one? I'd say no. Did they pick this one? I'd say no. Did they pick this one? Now they're touching the 8 in the exact position that the 8 is on this table. So I know they did pick the 8, so I would say yes. Now this is one of my favorite party tricks, and it's going to seem so obvious you're going to think that people would never fall for it. But I promise you it works. In fact, when I was a kid, my dad and my uncle performed this trick, and it fooled me so badly it was one of the reasons I got into magic in the first place. I hold a glass in my hand and cover it with a towel or a handkerchief or whatever I have that's available at the party. Then I'd ask someone at the party to reach under and make sure the glass is still there. And they'd reach under and they'd feel it, and they'd confirm, yep, the glass is still there. Then I'd ask somebody else, and they would again reach under and say, yes, the glass is still there. And I'd go around the room until finally I got to my accomplice who would reach under and say, yes, the glass is still there, but they'd literally just remove the glass as they're confirming that it's still under the towel. Now that might seem super obvious on video right now, but I promise you, in real life, no one ever notices that because they're so focused on looking here and making sure that I haven't done anything funny with my hands that they don't look at anybody else's hands. So in regular motion, it would look like this. The person would reach under, they'd say, yep, the glass is still there. I literally just pulled the glass out over here. The accomplice would hide that right behind their back while everybody's looking at my hands. I'd show the glass has vanished. Then to make it reappear, again, I would just cover my hand. I'd make the shape of a glass under the towel, and I'd ask a few different people to reach under and make sure that it's not there yet. And of course, everybody would say, no, it's not there, until I get to my accomplice who has the glass behind their back. They literally just reach under, so it would look like this. Make sure it's not there. Nope, it's not there. And they just placed it right back, so now I can make it appear. Please trust me, do not discount that trick. Try it live once or twice. You'll be surprised that everyone's going to actually fall for it.